yourself comfortable, because we're going to break out of the pattern. It's never good enough, and it's many different expressions. Like, I have to constantly outdo myself, or people will abandon me, or I cannot sustain it, or feeling like an imposter. It's the feeling of, oh, you got an A. How many other people got an A? 5. Well, then it's not really impressive anymore. Try harder next time. So for this one, I've actually prepared an outline and some notes. So when I'm looking down like this, it's because I'm checking my notes. The first part is going to be different expressions of not being good enough that are relating to my current situation. The second part is, where did it all come from? And the third part is ideas for breaking out of it. So, I should give you a bit of context how this relates to my own story and my current situation. I just recently came to the realization how deep this pattern of not feeling good enough really reaches in my case, and how it has shaped my whole life up to this point. I don't want to go into too much detail of my childhood, but I see now that it all came from there. But I give you the context of my current situation as a YouTube creator. I've tried on my channel for a long time to gain views and subscribers, but I never succeeded. Recently, I've got a spike in attention and some success, you could say. And now all these patterns of not being good enough are flaring up right now. That's why I want to examine what's happening right now. So, the first thing is that I've noticed, now that I've gained some success, I have the feeling I have to be serious now and try ultra hard. There's no place for fun anymore. I have to hold it all together now, or everything will break apart. I have to be professional now. But when I thought about it, it kind of makes no sense, because my current approach brought me to this point. Why should I change everything all of a sudden? But my notes just blacked out, and now I'm panicking because I don't have my notes anymore. But this is important, so let me fix it real quick. Okay, we got them again. So this is all the same pattern of not never being good enough. Now that I've reached this level of success, which is nothing in comparison, but still for me it is something. It feels like I can't be proud of myself or anything. I have to outdo myself now. Let's move on to the second thing I've observed, which is I cannot sustain it. Eventually, I will mess everything up. People will find out who I really am, and then they are going to leave and abandon me. Which is the thing I've just said about. That's where it comes from, that I have to constantly outdo myself, because otherwise people will, in my head, I have the feeling, abandon me. And I've also heard other YouTubers, successful YouTubers, talk about this, that they have this feeling. The third point is I'm feeling often like an imposter. And for example, I've received some compliments on my videos, and my first instinct was, well, they only pity me. So please don't give me compliments if it's out of pity. But I do appreciate compliments if they are genuine. The voice of the imposter manifests for me in many different flavors. It was luck. So I attributed it to coincidence, and that soon it will be over. It was just a lucky spike in attention. The second is I cheated, because I've run this ad campaign. This ties perfectly into the cheating narrative. And when the people see the real me, they are going to leave me. When they discover that it's all a show, and when I can't really sustain their attention because of me, I always have to put on a show. I always have to put on a performance for them, fighting for them to stay. So now that we've examined how it currently applies to myself, let's move on to the second part, where it came from. And I want to give you a little story of my life that happened. I'm a bit careful here because it's quite personal, but I think I can tell it. So, when I was a kid, I was competing in sports competitions like 100-meter dash and athletics like that. My father, he wanted me to go there, and he was my trainer, so to say. And I see now many of the things I'm experiencing now come from that. But one thing I remember remember in particular was at first I didn't win any competitions, but then I started to win competitions and I got first places and stuff like that. And then I think I've already internalized to some extent the imposter when I was a child, because I said to my father, I got first place, but it wasn't really hard because the competition wasn't strong enough, so I shouldn't be proud of myself or anything. And probably I was expecting to gain recognition from him, but instead I got reprimandation, because I was reprimanded because I was not grateful enough for my victory and I shouldn't take it for granted. Even though before it was never good enough. So probably I've learned something like no matter what I do, I can't say the right thing or I can't do the right thing. Because the thing which I thought was the thing I should behave, when I did that, then the opposite was what I should do. So it was always the opposite of what I was doing. This is just an example. But when you recognize such things and where they came from, I think it helps a lot to break out from those patterns. And keep in mind, I am not holding any grudges against my father, because it was not even a bad thing, it was a good thing. Yeah, it was nothing, basically. Yeah, but still an interesting story. Let's move on to the third. How to break out of it. Well, I've already mentioned the first step is recognition. It helps tremendously. And I don't just say it because everybody knows that already. But I really believe, because I've recognized it to such detail in my own life, that it had already an effect in overcoming it. But now, one point which is especially relevant for me, which is doing it because you want to do it that way, and not because you think you should do it in a certain way, because you've seen other people do it that way. So what I mean by that is, right now, for this video, I was thinking about many things I should do. But then I remembered let's have fun with the way I want to do it, the specific way I want to do it. Because you have to genuinely believe that your unique approach is valuable. And it is, especially in this era of artificial intelligence, because maybe soon artificial intelligence will be able to perfectly imitate flawless content. So we as humans should not try to compete with that and produce flawless content, but we should focus on our unique approaches because they can't be replicated by artificial intelligence. And another point, really practical, choose a cutoff point. Because the more I've observed it, the more you improve. I've improved, for example, my outline, and the more you improve it, the more you see additional ways to improve it. So it might be a never-ending task. So you have to choose a cutoff point, and you say, no matter what it is, I will do it like in the current state now. And it's important that you consciously choose a cutoff point that is below your standards, because otherwise you will fall into the perfectionistic trap again. Yeah. So this was all that I had prepared for this talk and that I wanted to talk about. I did enjoy it. I hope you did too. And see you next time.